Absolutely massive figure, a terrifying 8-foot-tall beast that just loomed over them in the dark. 3 people lost their lives during the Monkey Man scare. A pregnant woman, terrified by a shadow she thought was the Monkey Man, fell down a flight of stairs and died. The whole situation got so serious that the Delhi police had to take drastic action. Back in 2001, something truly terrifying was said to be haunting the rooftops of Delhi, India. It's a bizarre, frightening chapter in the city's history for sure, but it also reveals something absolutely fascinating about fear, rumors, and, well, the human mind itself. Okay, let's get into it. So picture this. It's the middle of a sweltering summer in Delhi. We're talking frequent power cuts, which meant a lot of people were forced to sleep outside on their rooftops just to get some relief from the heat. Then, one night, a guy is jolted awake, he thinks he's being attacked, and all he sees is this fleeting glimpse of something. And that one single account, it was enough to light a match that would set the entire city on fire with panic.
So yeah, our story really kicks off in Ghaziabad, a city right on the border of Delhi. And the conditions there were, honestly, a perfect storm for a mystery like this. You had that intense heat, you had those rolling blackouts, and you had people sleeping out in the open. This is the exact spot where the legend of the Monkey Man was born.
It started with just one man, Anil Gopal, on April 5th. Then, silence. For almost 2 whole weeks, nothing. You might think, okay, maybe it was a weird one-off thing. But then, on April 18th, it happened again, this time to his neighbor. And the very next night, a man named Rahasuddin was attacked so badly, he ended up in the hospital for 3 weeks. A terrifying pattern was definitely starting to emerge. Something was out there, stalking the rooftops.
Now, as the news of these attacks started spreading from Ghaziabad all across Delhi, this is where things get, well, really weird. With every person who told the story, the description of the attacker became wildly, impossibly different. Some victims swore they saw this absolutely massive figure, a terrifying 8-foot-tall beast that just loomed over them in the dark. But then, and this is just wild, other reports claimed the complete opposite, that the attacker was tiny, really agile, and no bigger than your average house cat.
You know, what's really fascinating is that one of the earliest, most detailed descriptions wasn't of a monster at all. Nope, it was of a man with a fair complexion and blue eyes, and they thought he was maybe of Nepali origin.
And yet, that very human description was almost immediately swallowed up by something way, way more monstrous. The story started to morph into this creature that was covered in thick black fur, with these piercing red eyes that would just glow in the night. The man was officially becoming a beast.
And from there, the legend just spiraled into full-blown supernatural territory. I mean, listen to this. The Monkey Man was said to wear a helmet with 3 magical buttons. One button to turn into a monkey, another for super strength, and a third to become invisible. They said he had metallic claws and springs on his feet to make these impossible jumps. The fandom had basically become a supervillain straight out of a comic book.
With these unbelievable stories spreading like wildfire, totally fanned by non-stop media reports, the city of Delhi just descended into this state of complete and utter paranoia. The fear of the Monkey Man quickly became way more dangerous than the creature itself.
And this is where the story turns from a spooky legend into a real-world tragedy. 3 people lost their lives during the Monkey Man scare. But here's the thing, none of them were ever even touched by an attacker. They were victims of the panic that it created.
The consequences were just devastating. A pregnant woman, terrified by a shadow she thought was the Monkey Man, fell down a flight of stairs and died. Another man literally jumped from a rooftop to his death trying to escape. Armed vigilante groups started roaming the streets, attacking innocent people they suspected of being the creature in disguise. The city was in total chaos. The whole situation got so serious that the Delhi police had to take drastic action. They offered up a pretty substantial reward, 50,000 rupees, for any information that could lead to the capture of the Monkey Man. But just look at this data. Of the 379 emergency calls the police got about the Monkey Man, a staggering 303 of them turned out to be fake or just simple hoaxes. This just shows you the sheer scale of the panic. This was a crisis completely fueled by rumor. So, slowly, as the panic started to die down and the police began to crack down on all these false reports, the question changed. It wasn't, where is the monkey man anymore. It was, what was the monkey man? And that's where the search for a real answer began.
So here's the crucial point, right? No attacker was ever found. No physical evidence, no footprints, not a single thing. So if there was no monster, what could possibly terrorize an entire city?
The answer, it turns out, isn't found in some dusty book about monsters, but in psychology. The phenomenon is called mass hysteria. It's basically when a collective illusion, a shared fear, spreads through a population just like a virus, and it causes very real physical and emotional symptoms.
And the thing is, the Monkey Man of Delhi wasn't just some random event, it was a perfect case study. A very specific set of ingredients came together to create the absolute ideal conditions for this kind of psychological meltdown to just explode.
A study by doctors at a hospital in Delhi revealed a really telling pattern. A massive 94% of the supposed victims came from poorest sections of society, and 89% were from a lower socioeconomic status. These were vulnerable communities already under an incredible amount of pressure.
So here's that recipe. It all starts with a simple trigger, right? A strange shadow, a weird noise in the dark. Then you mix that with the perfect environment. Crowded neighborhoods plunged into total blackness by power cuts. You add in all the underlying stress from heat waves and difficult low-income jobs, and then you pour gasoline on the fire with the amplifier. Sensationalist 24/7 news channels just blasting the story into every single home.
Okay, but you're probably wondering, what about the physical injuries? People were actually hurt, right? Well, yes, they were. But here's where the legend collides with reality. Medical exams found that the scratches weren't from metallic claws. They were totally consistent with people falling or hitting blunt objects while running around in a panic. And those bite marks, not from a monster, but from common rodents or maybe stray dog.
And get this, here's a fascinating detail. The police started to notice that Monkey Man sightings would spike in areas with power cuts. They began to suspect that some people were making false reports for a very simple reason. They knew it would force the city to restore their electricity for safety. And sure enough, once the power came back on, the sightings would suddenly stop.
The Indian Rationalist Association added another layer to all this, suggesting that some people might have intentionally faked or at least exaggerated their encounters. I mean, in an era of brand new 24-hour news channels, being a victim of the Monkey Man was a guaranteed way to get on television and get some attention. So, the Monkey Man was a phantom born from heat and stress and media hype. He vanished just as quickly as he appeared, but it leaves us with a really critical question for our own time. In an age of social media and viral misinformation, what new phantoms, what new monkey men are we creating right now?